There's a reason why India Today's Newsbreak has set the agenda and has every media organization from north and south, east and west following and trying to get the best out of this story. It's because it has all the ingredients of a true filmy potboiler. It has film, it has superstars, it has politics, it has language, it has bhasha, it has emotions. Well, the point is, after Kiccha Sudeep triggered this entire storm with that exclusive interview to India Today's Karnataka Tak, Karnataka's Chief Minister, Basavaraj Bommai, has come out in support of the Southern superstar, saying that his statement to India Today is correct and must be respected. The Chief Minister went on to say that states were formed because of languages. Meanwhile, protests have erupted in Bengaluru against actor Ajay Devgn over his reverse taunt on Sudeep for what he said on India Today. Earlier, former Karnataka Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy also trained his guns at actor Ajay Devgn, calling him a BJP mouthpiece for the BJP's Hindi nationalism and One India, One Language. Well, upping the ante against considering Hindi as the national language, Kumaraswamy said, and I quote, "There is no fault in the Kannada actor Sudeep's statement to Karnataka Tak. And Ajay Devgn is not only hyper in nature, but also shows his ludicrous behavior through these statements." So, as you can see, temperatures are high, emotions have been spiraling over this very emotive issue. After Kumaraswamy, a Karnataka minister also waded into this language war. I'm just showing you how everyone is stepping into this ring. Minister Ashwath Narayan, former Deputy Chief Minister, current minister, said, by hating Hindi, we cannot promote our language. So, deep divisions on both sides, some moderate voices coming in, but the fact is, Sudeep's comment to India Today's Karnataka Tak that Hindi can't be imposed as a national language and that it is wrong to call southern films pan-India just because they do well in other parts of the country has triggered a veritable political storm. Take a look.
ಸುದೀಪ್ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಸರಿ ಇದೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳು ಭಾಷಾವಾರ ಪ್ರಾಂತ್ಯಗಳಾದ ಮೇಲೆ ಆ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ರೀಜ್ನಲ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಮಾತೃಭಾಷೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಮಹತ್ವ ಇದೆ. ಅದೇ ಸಾರ್ವಭೌಮ. ಅದೇ ವಿಚಾರವನ್ನು ಸುನೀಲ್ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸುದೀಪ್ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸುದೀಪ್ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿರುವಂಥ ವಿಚಾರ ಸರಿ ಇದೆ. ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಮನಗಾಣಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತು ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು.
Hating any other language or opposing any language doesn't mean anything. You love your language, promote your language, work for it, and without causing any kind of hatredness against any other language, instead of English being promoted, Hindi should be promoted because that's our own language. Instead of hating Hindi or any other language doesn't mean anything. That shows the attitude or the thought.
ಅಜಯ್ ದೇವಗನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಡೆದಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಹಿಂದಿ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಭಾಷೆಯ ವಿಷಯಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಾಗಿ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ನಾನು ನಿನ್ನೆ ಒಂದು ಟ್ವೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ರೀತಿಯ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನು ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಕೆರಕ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಸಮಾಜದ ಸಾಮರಸ್ಯ ಹಾಳಾಗೋದು ಬೇಡ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ದೇಶದ ರಚನೆ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದೇ ಹಲವಾರು ಭಾಷೆಗಳ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಯಾ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳ ರಚನೆ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದೇನಿದೆ, ಈ ಪ್ರಜಾಪ್ರಭುತ್ವದ ಒಕ್ಕೂಟದ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ಈ ರೀತಿಯ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನು ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಭಾವೈಕ್ಯತೆಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರಜಾಪ್ರಭುತ್ವದ ಒಕ್ಕೂಟದ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ಧಕ್ಕೆ ಉಂಟಾಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶಗಳು ಯಾರೂ ಕೊಡಬಾರದು ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ನನ್ನ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ.
हिंदी वॉज नेवर द नेशनल लैंग्वेज. सबसे पहले बात ये समझाना चाहूंगी, हमारा जो देश है एक डाइवर्स देश है और उस देश में अलग अलग लैंग्वेजेस हैं. मराठी हो, बंगाली हो, कन्नड़ा हो, तमिल हो, तेलुगु हो, ये सारी ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेजेस के अंतर्गत आती हैं और वो हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ने उनको ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज का स्टेटस दिया है. तो मैं बस यही उम्मीद करूंगी अजय देवगन जी इससे अवगत होंगे, उनको कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की ज्यादा जानकारी हो सकता है इस मुद्दे पे ना हो, पर ये ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज की कैटेगरी में हिंदी आता है जैसे कि बाकी सारे भाषा आती हैं.
Joining us live, and we're very privileged here on India Today to be joined by Sumalata. She's Member of Parliament from Karnataka's Mandya constituency. She's a well-known actor in Kannada cinema as well and a highly respected voice on all these matters. Sumalata ma'am, very good to see you. Thank you very much. I know you are busy with your own work, but thank you for giving us your time, because this is an issue that has touched a raw nerve. You know, there have been some ugly exchanges between high-profile stars, madam, on both sides. From Kannada cinema, Sudeep, Ajay Devgn in Bollywood, and now many others have also jumped in. I want to get your opening comment. What do you think of this exchange, madam?
I didn't get your name, sorry, because I'm not able to see you.
My name is Shiv.
Here. Shiv, yeah. Shiv, I feel it's very unfortunate that such a big issue is being made out of this. Right now, you know, sitting where I am in my constituency, and I see people, you know, struggling with their day-to-day problems. We are just coming out of COVID. People have lost lives. People have lost jobs and livelihoods. People are still, you know, looking into their day-to-day problems like bad roads or, you know, so many things which they need to address daily. And this is the last thing we need, is to create another controversy out of something like this. I think we Indians are by nature diverse. We have so many beautiful languages, each important and each precious in their own way. When it comes to Kannada, I think we take pride, a lot of pride in our cultural heritage. We are the ones with the maximum number of Jnanpith awards, you know, for works of literature. And we have highly, eminently respected poets and literary figures coming from Karnataka and, you know, Kannada language. And Kannadigas as such are very fiercely, proud of our cultural heritage or language. And I think I had seen the tweet made by Mr. Ajay Devgn, and I think he was not totally aware of the facts as such. Hindi is a national language, not the national language. There's no one national language for India. That is my understanding. And certainly, while we respect and love every language, I myself speak 6 languages, and I have worked in 5 languages in movies.
Yes.
So I understand, I can speak, I love each language, and each language has its own. I don't think anybody can consider it superior or, you know, inferior. While Hindi is spoken largely in the north, in the south it is not. Only a few belts they speak Hindi, and not everywhere. And while they respect in Karnataka, especially, it's like a melting pot. You find people from diverse cultures, diverse ethnic identities, and all live. They've been living happily in this society from decades, if not. So I think Kannadigas as such welcome and respect every language, every identity, but we don't take our own language lightly. You know, if we feel that somebody is slighting our language or our culture, yes, then it's a matter of I think our pride in our language.
No,
and that
your point is very well taken, madam, about, there being far more important things to deal with. But, the reason why we can't ignore this is because you've got these big role model actors having this very public exchange on what is, like you also admit, is an emotive issue. People feel strongly about their identity and their language. I also wanted to ask you, since you've been such an accomplished actor in many different languages, why is it such a sensitive issue for these two actors to engage in this kind of exchange, ma'am, between Hindi and Kannada? We love our diversity. Why has it become a sensitive issue at this point, in your view?
I do believe that what Sudeep has said is he's tried to clarify his stand, that it was taken out of context and misinterpreted by Mr. Ajay Devgn. I'm not totally aware of what dialogue has happened between the two of them, but it should not have happened because, believe me, in the film industry, there's no such barriers. Because working in multiple languages, people, in Telugu and Tamil and Kannada, we have actors from Mumbai all the time, and vice versa also. South Indian actors have,
Yeah.
I myself have acted in more than 10 Hindi movie language, in Hindi language movies. So we've never faced this kind of an issue. Nobody ever insulted anybody else, and I'm distressed that even into this atmosphere something like this has crept in. I wish it hadn't, really.
Just a last couple of questions, ma'am. We are seeing a time when southern movies, movies from the south, from the southern states, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, etc., are doing huge business. There is this, trend watchers and cinema analysts are seeing that, south movies have completely dominated the box office. They've made small potatoes of Bollywood. So there's also that angle. Do you think that also has something to do with it, ma'am? I'm not asking it to belittle one or, prop up the other. But there is a sense that South is the new flavor and nobody can match the domination of the South. KGF, RRR, Bahubali, all these films.
I do think it might be the case, actually. I do think so. A section of the industry which might not be very happy with the kind of dominance that the South Indian movies are enjoying right now.
Do you think that this is a period of transition, ma'am? Do you think this is a time when Southern cinema, which has been dismissed as pan-Indian and other dismissive phrases have been used, which is actually the genesis of this entire controversy and what Sudeep was reacting to. Do you think many of those debates will be settled now because these Southern movies have spoken with brute strength where it matters in the box office?
True. But I do think that we should stop using the word even Southern movies or Bombay movies or Bollywood or Tollywood or Sandalwood, as we are so fond of saying this. But it's a beautiful time where everything is merging into one. All the industries are merging into one. The audiences are accepting everybody as Indian. It's not like they are discerning between the North or the South or Mumbai or Telugu industry or Kannada industry. It's amazing that KGF2 and Yash can place Kannada industries so firmly on the map, and everybody is taking notice of it. So is RRR and Pushpa and all the other South movies. And I think we should be applauding this. We should be applauding this because Hindi movies also have been accepted and appreciated over the years everywhere in every part of India. So now it's it's the other way around. They should also welcome this. Why get upset about it?
There are some Bollywood persons who've embraced the success of Southern films by either becoming co-producers or backing them in some way. But there is also a level of discontent because it is seen as a kind of taking over the territory. Taking over the eyeballs, like you rightly said, and I completely agree with you. Hindi films are called Indian films, but Southern films are called South Indian films. There's no. Will we ever reach that time when films from the South are also classified as Indian films instead of the slightly, demeaning pan-Indian film, as if it doesn't belong outside South India?
No, I think we have reached that point of time now. At least as far as the audiences go, they have proved that, they don't see South films any differently than, the way they view the Bollywood or Mumbai film industry. So I'm sure, this is going to be a very interesting time for the movie industry, and people should be rejoicing in this instead of opposing it or getting upset about it. and there's these kind of things cannot be stopped or willed away. What has to happen will happen. It's the trend of the day that South films are being appreciated all over India, and I'm for one, I feel proud and I'm very happy about it.
Final question, Sumalata ma'am. It's for a long time there has been this view that films from the southern states are better produced, better written, better directed, better acted, produced better. The qualities of production are better. Overall, it's a better package. That's been the a kind of general reputation that these films have had. But what has happened in the last few years has also demonstrated that it's not just about a great product. It is killing it at the box office. Many multiples the times what Bollywood films are doing. So do you think that the current pockets of resentment that there might be in some parts of Bollywood will have to flatten out? There's no choice. The big domination of South Indian cinema becoming Indian cinema is something that's undeniable. Either become part of it or perish.
Yeah, I do agree. I see it as, a wonderful opportunity for a lot of people, including the, Hindi movie producers. Now, suppose, for instance, version tomorrow. He's not available for me. He's busy doing films for the next 10 years. I can think of Allu Arjun or Yash for that matter. Absolutely. And it doesn't matter if he's from Bangalore or from Hyderabad. So I think this is going to throw up a lot of interesting options for everybody, including the audiences.
Sumalata ma'am, thank you very much. A real privilege and an honor to speak to you and to get your sense. You have a moderate view also, and we decided to speak to you because you've really straddled all of these industries. You speak 6 languages. You've acted in Kannada as well as Hindi films. So your view will be taken seriously as a public representative. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for taking time out to speak to us here on India Today. Well, it's a clash of the titans. A Twitter war that sparked a fresh row over this national language debate. Hindi film superstar Ajay Devgn and Kannada superstar Kiccha Sudeep locking horns in public. They've made a kind of peace right now, but while debating on the Hindi being the national language of the country, things became pretty personal. From the film industry to politicians, this fiery agenda-setting fight has gained everyone's attention and has turned political. India Today's Nabila Jamal brings you this detailed report of how this starry fight unfolded. And remember, it all started with an interview on India Today's brand new Karnataka Tak channel.
Which is the national language?
National language.
Correct. So what is pan-India? So which is having a better reaction from the audiences today? ಇವತ್ತು ನೀವು ಪುಷ್ಪ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನೀವು KGF ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನಾನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಟ್ಟರು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಗೆದ್ರು. ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ದಟ್ term everywhere.
We've got a big breaking story coming in between Bollywood and the Kannada film industry. It's a huge superstar language war that has now erupted between Kannada superstar Kiccha Sudeep and Bollywood star Ajay Devgn. This is already a very sensitive issue, but to call South cinema that does well in the North pan-India has clearly touched a raw nerve. So, Sudeep reacting in this way is in some senses pretty understandable at this time. Nabila.
Shiv, what we see of the southern stars and the frustration that comes is from this constant imposition of Hindi to be pushed as a national language. From what we hear from the actors of the south, which they say time and again, is that they're not against the language of Hindi at all. They're just against the fact that there is a push for one language to become a national language. The same way if there's a push for Kannada to become a national language, you have the Hindi belt, which will not be okay with it. That's the same way if you push for a Hindi, a North India language, a North Indian language to be considered as a national pan-India language, the South will not be okay with it.
Sir Ajay Devgn, I did understand the text you sent in Hindi. That's only because we all have respected, loved and learnt Hindi. No offence, sir, but was wondering what would the situation be if my response was typed in Kannada. Don't we too belong to India, sir?
Ajay Devgn finally tried to douse the fire, calling the controversy a message lost in translation. Karnataka leader of opposition Siddaramaiah pounced in, saying Hindi was never and will never be our national language. Former actor and politician Divya Spandana aka Ramya too joined in the bandwagon, attacking Ajay Devgn, calling his comments baffling.
No, Hindi is not our national language. Ajay Devgn, your ignorance is baffling. And it's great that films like KGF, Pushpa and RRR have done so well in the Hindi belt. Art has no language barrier. Please enjoy our films as much as we enjoy yours.
Hindi is no more national language. So which is the national language today? Which is the national language?
No national language.
Correct? So what is pan-India? So which is having a better reaction from the audiences today? ಇವತ್ತು ನೀವು ಪುಷ್ಪ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನೀವು KGF ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನಾನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು.
I'll be very honest, I can't speak much. I can manage to speak, but I definitely know my Hindi is not good enough to, communicate very efficiently. I'm open if there's any great offer or if there's any nice film on my way. I'm definitely open to do a nice Hindi film, a multi-language film. I'm open.
I don't want to go and act in all the industries. I would like to explore. I would like to explore the work culture in every industry, and I would like to learn a lot from all the actors and technicians from all the industries across the globe. But I think I can perform the best in Malayalam.
I think everyone can watch the film from anywhere in the world, any language, with the subtitles, and people are enjoying. So I think now the priority should not be about working in Bollywood or Tollywood or any other industry. I think priority should be about making great content.
Hindi is no more national language. So
The reactions we see today aren't knee-jerk. There's been a palpable sentiment about the language row for years now, ignored largely so far.
So which is having a better reaction from the audiences today?
Music maestro A.R. Rahman, for example, has never shied away from professing his love for Tamil and taking on any attempt at Hindi imposition. Even recently putting out his tweet purportedly in response to Home Minister Amit Shah's comment on Hindi being the connecting language.
சார் இந்த ஹிந்தி சம்பந்தமா சார் மத்திய அமைச்சர் வந்து இந்த ஹிந்தி சம்பந்தமா சொல்லியிருக்காரு, இனிப்பு மொழியா இருக்கணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு.
The root of the language debate is in the political back and forth between North Indian and South Indian parties for decades now. And several South stars who usually stay away from controversies have spoken out on this one, clearly backing the stance that Hindi cannot be imposed on anyone. This is just the beginning of superstars now joining the anti-imposition stir, and it looks like Bollywood stars too are bracing in for a big fight. Bureau Report, India Today.